morning, Vicky here with you, and today we're doing things a bit different. It's late Sunday, but it's not because I was working all weekend. I was working all weekend, but I was working on crafting stuff. So I'm trying to make some December dailies. I'm trying to make 4 so that I'll put them in my Etsy store, but I could possibly as well, if I'm left with some, I'll be using those for myself. So that's what I've been working on, and so it's been quite busy as always. And today I'm making some postcards. So since I'm making 4 December dailies, I'm making 4 postcards, and I also have 4 these I want to make as little bookmarks type of thing. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I pulled out some music paper because I figured Christmas music paper, that might be a good thing. Might look good as a background. So that's what I'm going for. And I pulled out some of my ephemera that came with the kits that I'm using, because I'm actually using some scrapbooking paper in it, in the December dailies. Not just that, but some of it. And so I figured it would be a good thing to use the same kits that go with my stuff. So this I can use for the bookmarks. Technically my postcards are 4 by 6, so if I do this, I should be able to have some sheets that would fit. I need to make another one. So that's what we're doing today. I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. I know that the numbers are rising everywhere, which is concerning. I'm just hoping that hospitals don't get overwhelmed. That's one of the big things in Quebec that they're watching for. Because yes, you know, like there's a shortage of nurse and all of the people that work in the healthcare, and not only that, but people are tired too. So it's okay. I've got 4. It's been a trying time for everybody. So obviously, you want to take care of the people that provide healthcare for you. So hats off to all of you guys that work in the health industry, or in any industry actually that supplies things like, you know, trucking, and there's so many people that are doing so much for everybody else. So hats off to all of you guys for this. I'm trying to make myself a bit of room. Obviously, I don't have to make this as strong because this is not going to be used for mailing. Well, at least I don't think so. The goal is to have some place to journal in the December daily. So that's the goal of those postcards. But I still want them to be strong. And of course, I'm a bit off because that's what I do. I'm always a bit off. It's almost impossible for me to have anything totally straight. And sometimes it's just easier to just go with a pair of scissors to finalize this. I pulled out a bunch of different inks because I thought I was going to edge the postcard with that. I want a soft look. I don't want the black that I usually use for this, just because I don't know, it's Christmas and I want it to be softer. So that's my thinking behind this. And it would help if I looked to make sure that it's the right way. Not that I know how I'm going to be using this, but still. There. So it's been nice to do stuff for me, and you know, like I did a little behind the scene for my Patreon peeps and my Patreon tribe, I should say, and I've made my cake tray, which I shared with you guys. What will be yesterday for you now that you're watching, but it was yesterday for me making it, and that was fun. I'm glad that I was able to manage finding one, like making one, because I wasn't having much luck finding what I'd wanted. And I really wanted that for the Christmas time for baking and stuff. It's easier to try to keep the cats off the food that way, and because otherwise I end up hiding stuff in the microwave. I don't want to put it in the oven, because my mother-in-law used to do that, put the stuff in the oven, but I tend to forget that I've put stuff in there. Like microwave, you have to open it to put your stuff in, and then you microwave. Whereas the oven, you usually just start it, and then when it's ready, then you put the stuff in. So that's a big difference to me, and why I don't put stuff in the oven. Because I believe it happened to me once or twice that I've put something in, and then I'm like, what's that smell? Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Not good. I always love when you guys share what you're up to and what you're working on and your Christmas projects and things like that. It's always fun. Okay, so let's do these as well, I guess. Might as well. This way they'll be done and ready. I think I'm going to go assembly style. Because the thing is, I'm really anxiously wanting to get back to making the album. I've finished doing the stitching. I need to do the stitching, like so I finished doing the stitching, but now I need to assemble them and then put all the ephemera in. I do have a bit already pulled out, but I want to use some of my Christmas cards that I've made, my recycled Christmas cards. I also want to use some of like these, and I have a few other things like little notepads, papers, and things like that. Because I want basically to give whoever purchased them the opportunity to have some stock, some items that they can. This is not good. I would have hoped that I did a better job in putting this down, but I guess I didn't. So So let's do this again, because I didn't go all the way to the edge. So yeah, I want to have, and one of the things too that I'm gonna include is a little card, with playing card with washi tape on it, so that because I know that I love to use washi to integrate some of the cards I get from other people. And I usually write, or I put pictures on the back of them and stuff like that. So I don't want to waste, so I'm going to use this way, even though it's not music isn't not the right way, but I don't care. I think because I just want a pretty background that's neutral, and then I can use the embellishments on top. So that's why I'm going with this music paper, and it's from a very old book of music, so it's already all yellow, which is great. Okay. And I've got one last one. I've also prepped some of my calendars for my husband and my grandmother. I need to do the for my husband. I had not made his calendar last year. I ended up running out of time, so what I did is I had put the new months on top, but I kept the old calendar base. So this year I have some images that I had pre-colored last year, so I can use those. But for my grandmother, I need to create new images, and I also want to do some watercolor of images for making some cards, because I usually sell a few cards during this time of year, so it'd be good to no, I was gonna use this, but I think I prefer using these. Got that already. Okay, so we'll figure out what we're gonna put on them first, and then figure out the rest, the edge and stuff. I want to do the whole for this first. So that I kind of know where it's gonna go. I'm gonna need to add some ribbon. I've got some that I think will be very pretty with this. Okay, so there we go. And so now I've got these images and these ones. Some are probably bigger, like this one would be perfect. I'll just put both packs together afterwards, I guess, because there's little things all over. That would be a nice embellishment to add in the book. Okay, I like this one. Now I need some that are smaller for like the bookmarks. I can use like the trees. That would be fun. Oh, just a tad too big. I'm hoping I'm in frame. This is a tag already, so I don't want to use that. I like that. I think for one of the postcards I'm going to be using this. Maybe I can use this little guy for another one. Either that or maybe an ornament like that would be good. So I've got 2 images for postcards. What about the other ones? That would be fun. Maybe I can put maybe something like that. And for this one, I could use this maybe. And this one I think I'm going to put that way. Maybe that. This one is a bit small. Maybe I can, what about using this to frame it? Would this fit? I like that and this. Just not sure what I want to do with the rest of this. Use one of the small little things to put on here. Family tradition. It's a bit big. Trying to decide what I'm not going to use to put those away so that it's not so messy, and maybe I can find my way around better. this one on there. Whoa. This one already has something on, so I'm not gonna add to this. Do I have, yeah, I have some saying on all of them. So I'm just missing for this little guy, which you probably don't see because it's at the corner. You'll see it once I move it. I think I'm just going to put memories on this one. And call this done. So put these back. Some are pretty delicate, which is why I really want to put them back before I break them. Or lose them. I tend to lose stuff very easily. Like, it seems to disappear on my desk, even if I don't have a lot of stuff on my desk. Just kind of, I don't know if it's just me, but okay. So we've got, whoops, this one stayed out. Oh well. Okay, so we've got all, oh yeah, that's what I mean by I've got pieces everywhere. Okay, so let's put these aside. Let's do these first. Now I have some Christmas ribbon here. I have that one, which would be pretty for this. And this would be pretty for these two, I guess. So one for this, one for that. And for the other one, and some red. Okay, so that's that. Now, let's assemble this. So we're using this. So I think I'm going to use the forest green moss. This here. And just add that little tab here. Right, like that. This through this, and the back can be used as a writing spot as well, which can be fun. Okay, so here's one. That's my husband that you're hearing laugh in the background. Okay, so this one I think I'm going to use also the green, Now I just realized before that the corners were lifting a bit, so just want to glue those down a little bit better. Okay, so here we go. All done. And for this one, I think because the background is beige and I want it to pop, I think I'm going to put some of this around just so that I kind of make it pop on this. I think it's going to look better. Yeah, make it a lot better. Okay, so whoops. Here. And I don't know why the S doesn't want to stick down. Here we go. And then put this down with that. The S really doesn't want to stick down. So I'm going to use some Soukwan tape. Some double-sided tape. Just a little piece. Make sure that it doesn't lift. Okay, so now it's definitely not going to be moving. So here we go. Now, I think I'm also going to use this for this one. And then I think I'm going to change for the ice spruce for the others. Well, actually, maybe not for this one, so let's do that one as well. Okay, so we've got this. This one is done with. I'm not going to be using that again. At least I don't think so. Now, this goes over here. And just glue the top of this. Like so. Put the leaf right over here. And use this little bit of ribbon through this. And whoops. And here we go. So there's that. And then for this one, I've got the little memories, but it's very small, so my tape runner is going to be too big. So let's use this to put it on. A little tree. And add a little bit of ribbon. Here we go. So here it is. Yeah, that's my husband that you're hearing laugh in the background. So I'm gonna use the ice spruce for this because of the fact that it's so pale, and I think that's gonna be the best color for this. Here we go. And I think that's going to be very pretty. On here, I'm not going to put it a little bit crooked on purpose. So if I try to put it straight, it's definitely not going to be straight. So might as well embrace being crooked. So here we go. Now for this one here, I think I'm going to be using the ice spruce as well. And again, my little corners are lifting, so put this down. Okay, so ice spruce. Bit of cardstock here. Okay, so this one is fairly simple. Well, they're actually all pretty simple. I'm not doing anything super fancy. And here we go. Here we go. And then I wonder if I should use the forest moss for this one. I think I'm going to use the forest moss. Here we go. Just like so. And here we go. So it says, "Dear Santa, define good," which I think is super fun. And for this one, well, I guess I should be using the forest moss again. So actually, I used it a whole lot more than I had expected. And again, for this, because of the fact that it's beige, I think I'm going to use this with it. Okay, and then I'm just going to put that around this as well. Here we go. And put this here because they're a little bit shorter than Santa, so it's going to fit better. And here we go. And one last one. And here we go. So that's the last of them. Okay, this is weird. I don't understand why I'm getting text message from on my phone now. It's just weird. Anyway, so that is it, guys. Oops. This is all the cards and the little bookmarks. So I hope you've enjoyed them. I'm looking forward to putting them in the book and books, and I hope you all stay safe. Leave comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and just sending you all a lot of love. Bye!